If you guys are wondering what the inside of a hopper looks like, that's it right there. Hey y'all, just making a video today just to tell y'all about my first time pulling hopper. Some of y'all probably know now from a few of my other videos or comments, or even if you're coming to me from Instagram or Facebook, you know that I left drive-in and went in the hopper. One thing I gotta say though is there's a lot of things that like you just learn coming in the hopper. Like if you don't have any prior experience, they're not gonna hold your hand, they're not gonna teach you. So my last load, right, like some of you might have seen it, but if you ever seen a hopper, I have a double hopper. So that means at the bottom there's two like little hole things. I'll show you guys, you'll see it. But that pretty much means that so that pretty much means that, you know, grain is going into two separate sides. So usually it's the same grain. It's like last thing I pulled was fish meal. Some of y'all might know what that is. Some of y'all don't. I know I damn sure didn't before I hauled it. But it, you know, they load it into two sides of the hopper, right? Now, I'm about to show y'all real quick.
All right, so bear with me, y'all, because I already made this part, but it cut out. So here's the hopper, right? You can see the whole thing. It's company I work for, whatever, right? Now it's a 43 trailer, right? Our 43 foot trailer. You got the front hopper. That's the vibrator you guys gonna hear me talk about. But um, that's how you open the front hopper. Is it controls to the vibrator. As you can see the hopper. It's slanted, right? That's how it is on both sides. Then you can see on the back here, unlike a dry van or some of your flatbeds, right? Our tandems are locked in place. They don't move, right? Now, my company, we haul up to 50,000 pounds, right, on our trailer legally. So what that means is in order to distribute the weight correctly, in the back, you want to put 28,000 pounds. In the front, you want to put 22,000 pounds. That gets you at your 50,000. Now, we have our um, gauges and whatnot in our trucks. In our truck, we have a suspension gauge that tells you like, oh, uh, 22,000 pounds on that, or 22,000 psi on that is where you want to be at. And as you'll see on the back of the
Now, additionally, as you can see here on our trailer, we have an air gauge, right? Typically, as I was taught, you want to have it around, well, mine's kind of marked. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's like a little marker line right there that tells you where you want that trailer line to be for that weight, right? I'll have to get a marker and mark it myself. But I'll zoom in, you guys could kind of see it there. And that's where you want the trailer to be, right? Around 68. And now on the truck, if I remember correctly, I think you want it to be around 22, right? The truck has a, suspension gauge. You want it to be around 22. Normally when you're filling up at most of these places, they're very good. You know, they know where to get you at, where to keep you at. They typically have scales that you're sitting on while you're getting loaded. So that part is fairly easy if you're new and you kind of know what to do there, right? Now, the part that gets, I can't say difficult, but maybe a little difficult, is the unloading process, right? If you've never experienced unloading a hopper, it's very different. It's not necessarily fast paced, but it's not like anything I've done before. It's not like dry van or flatbedding. So what you'll do is you'll come in, right? What's this guy doing? Might be a little loud real quick. All right, so you'll come in, they're gonna usually sample and test your load to make sure everything is fine before you unload. And then they're gonna tell you which bay to go into. You'll pull your first hopper, your front hopper, over grates, all right? Sometimes they'll help guide you. Most times you're probably gonna be going over it yourself because that's what they expect. All right, keep in mind, once they've tested it, you've already opened like the tarp to your hopper. You just gotta wait to open the bottoms. You pull over the grate and you pretty much start unloading, right? Like no one's there to baby you. They're not gonna tell you like, when, I mean, most times they might tell you like when it's okay to start unloading, because they have certain grains that go through certain systems. So obviously when you get there, you don't want to just open it up, because you might be mixing material that doesn't need to be. So usually you'll probably wait for like an approval. Hey, you can open it up. Once you open up that hopper, it's all up to you from there, right? So you're dumping your load, whether it's using rubber mallet, or on our trailers we have what's called vibrators. They're very loud, but they kind of vibrate the trailer to let the material come out. So you'll do that. You'll close that up. It's more into it than like dry van, because like I had the luxury of being in a place where they had air hoses and whatnot, where I can like get on a ladder and clean out the inside of my hopper that way. But most places I'll probably have to like climb under and broom it out. And I'll show you guys in a minute how like low these hoppers are. Like you really have to crawl under it, climb on in, and then sweep it out. So you don't want to be wearing your fanciest Polo or Ralph Lauren. You're gonna get it messed up. So after I unload my first hopper, pull up, unload the second one. You clean that out. And like I said, there's no one babying you, so there's no one there to tell you, oh hey, your hopper is done being unloaded. You're standing there watching it, and depending on what type of material you have, you can be standing there for quite a while watching it and monitoring and making sure it comes out the right way and it's not spilling all over the place, sweeping it into the grates, things like that. So I'm saying this to say that hopper has been fun. It's been very interesting, but like I said, it's definitely unlike any other thing. I mean, I encourage a lot of people to get into it. Find a good company that you can get into it and then try it out. It's not for everybody. If you're a person with physical disabilities, or on the heavier side, it might be a little bit more difficult for you, but for the most part, it's been fun for the first load. So just wanted to come and talk to you guys about that. And any of you other drivers out there who pull hopper, if you ever got any tips and tricks for me and some information that you want to put me on, feel free to put it down in the comments. But again, thank y'all for watching. Today is Juneteenth, so we're out here celebrating and having fun and seeing what our next load holds for us. That's where we're sitting right now, actually, waiting on our next load. But in the future, I hope to make some more videos for you guys, because I realize out there's not a lot of hopper videos, and when they do, it's not a lot of things explaining anything about how the hopper scene, or what's the word I'm looking for, like hopper trailers or hopper hauling, how it works. So hopefully I could be one of the few people to let you guys know about that, and maybe you gain some interest. Anyways, thanks for watching, y'all. Shit, alright. I knew there was one more thing I forgot to mention, so y'all gonna probably see this interrupting part of my video. Don't be afraid to ask, right? When it comes to hopper, don't be afraid to ask questions, before, during, after. Like I said, they won't hold your hand, but people will definitely be willing to tell you what you might need to do. A lot of these guys, at these places, these shippers and receivers have been probably in this industry for maybe longer than you've been trucking. They've seen truckers come in and out, and they see what they do and how they do it, so they'll be more than willing to help you. That was one of the mistakes that I made when I got loaded. I assumed that I knew from what I was told, but I didn't ask enough questions beforehand. When I got loaded, my hopper, I got it loaded 50-50, so 25-25. Now, well, a little bit under, actually, because I ended up loading at like anywhere between 42 and 48,000 pounds. Thank God, I managed to, even though I went and weighed myself and tried to get everything accurate and paid that dime myself, I managed to be driving on the weekend and predominantly at night, so I avoided a lot of the scales, and it wasn't a DOT blitz, so I got really lucky. That might not be the case for you, so I'll say make sure that you're paying attention to those things and you're asking questions. If something doesn't seem right, you make sure you get that situated before you leave these facilities, because typically, you're getting, you still put seals on this trailer, right? But with the exception of a dry van where you just put on the door, you're putting seals on both the hoppers and on the on the back, the handle to the tarp. That's 3 seals, right? And they're all set up for your specific load in your trailer. So now if you don't make sure everything's right and then you leave there and then you got to come back, that's a huge inconvenience to both you, your company, and the people loading or unloading you. So make sure you guys are willing to suck up that pride and ask questions that need to be asked. You do not want to be in a situation like I was.